The Zong case and the African Holocaust. The Zong mass homicide occurred during the American Revolutionary War of Independence, 18 years after Kofi's 1763 African Revolutionary War of Independence in Berbice, Guyana. The Zong was a truly shocking case and summed up the horrors of chattel enslavement of Africans and the African Holocaust. See the replica of the Zong ship. The case concerned a contested marine insurance claim for the value of 132 enslaved Africans killed in the Caribbean Sea in 1781. The case of Gregson and Gilbert was heard in the Court of King's Bench in Westminster, London in 1783. The facts. On the 6th of September 1781, a British trafficking ship, the Zong or Zong, formerly a Dutch ship named Zorg, meaning care, sailed from the coast of West Africa and headed across the Atlantic Middle Passage for Jamaica, with a hold packed with hundreds of enslaved Africans. Professor Ian Bowcombe has reported that 440 Africans were included in the insurance contract, but that no ship's logbook survived. Bowcombe, page 11. The actual number of Africans on the Zong was probably higher than 440, as shippers often exceeded the maximum capacity of their ships. Professor Folarin Shylon mentioned a figure of approximately 470. Shylon, page 184. The diagrams of the cramped conditions on the British trafficking ship, the Brooks, had been used by 18th century abolitionists to publicize the horrors of the African Holocaust. Thomas Clarkson stated that the Brooks had a capacity of 450 enslaved Africans, but had been proved to have carried 609 on one voyage. Clarkson, 1808, volume 2, page 115. Have a look at this diagram. This is a diagram of the Brooks, the trafficking ship, the Brooks, which was used as propaganda for the abolitionist cause. The Zong's voyage must have been worse than a nightmare. The case report states that during the voyage, 60 Africans fell sick and died. Another 40 jumped overboard. The captain decided to jettison or throw overboard another 150 sick Africans. His reason was that the ship had a shortage of water, and it was an absolute necessity for the preservation of the lives of the more healthy Africans and the crew. See the case report of Gregson and Gilbert. There were in fact 200 gallons of water on board at that time. Shylon, page 186. 133 Africans were selected for drowning. They were drowned in groups or batches On the first day, 54 Africans were thrown overboard. And on the second day, 42. Heavy rain then fell, providing many gallons of fresh water. Nevertheless, on the third day, 26 more Africans were killed. Another 10 jumped overboard before they could be thrown. Only one African thrown overboard survived. That person managed to get hold of a rope and climbed back on board. At least 232 Africans, over half the insured total of 440, had died on the voyage, which had lasted over 3.5 months. When the ship eventually docked in Jamaica in late December 1781, there were 420 gallons of water to spare. Shylon, page 186. Court issues. The advocates for the insurance underwriters advanced humanitarian arguments that the shipowners could not prove that there was an absolute necessity for the drowning of 132 Africans. They concluded that the insurance underwriters should not bear the loss at a value of £30 for each African, as decided by the jury in the earlier hearings. See Shylon, pages 185 to 199, and Kagoano, page 85. Now the response in court of the Solicitor General, John Lee, was that the case was a case of chattels or goods. It was a case of throwing over goods. For the purpose of the insurance, the Africans were goods and property. Whether right or wrong, they had nothing to do with it. Now for the judgment of the Court of King's Bench. Lord Mansfield, who was sitting with Justices Wills and Buller. Lord Mansfield, the Lord Chief Justice of England, stated that the matter left to the jury was whether it was from necessity, for they had no doubt, though it shocked one very much, that the case of slaves was the same as if horses had been thrown overboard. It was a very shocking case. There was great weight in the argument that the evidence did not support the shipowner's case. There was also weight in the argument that there appeared to have been no necessity for throwing Africans overboard after the rain had fallen. The judgment of the court was that a retrial would be ordered. See the case of Gregson and Gilbert. Hoare, pages 239 to 241, and Shylon, pages 184 to 199. And see the following references.